What's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media Update. All right, I promised y'all I was going to do this video today, and I'm going to do it early this morning before I head off to sleep because I worked last night. So, this one is about Christie Sides, Teresa Weatherspoon. Now, the game Sunday raised a lot of questions. And so, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to put this up here for y'all so y'all can see. All right, these two right here. The embrace. After Christie Sides blew a 15-point lead, leading in the fourth with a 12-point lead, and still blow the game, allowed Angel Reese to score 10 points to shave it down, and score the last 15 points to win the game, to put them in position to win the game. It raised a lot of questions. I even had some questions. Now, I listened to the Pope, and he had a live stream last night when I got in, came in early. And I was trying to get on, but he was only having Adrian Ross on there, who's very outstanding and knowledgeable herself. Shout out to these two this gentleman and this well-rounded young lady, I might say. They brought up a lot of things, a lot of questions. Even some that I have asked. It's like, I felt like some people feel like Christie Sides threw their game to Weatherspoon, knowing that the Indiana Fever easily could beat the Chicago Sky, easily could beat them. Because, yeah, even though Trinity Carter had an explosive first half, she didn't do nothing in the second half. They don't have the scoring output the way the Fever does. I don't care how much rebounds Angel Reese gets. When you allow her to addictively bully her way, rebound, put her body in position, no box out, no trapping, no forcing her outside, no running those zones, and you just allow her to do whatever, she's going to get them numbers. She's not a scorer like that. And that's when you scouting a team and you know a person doesn't score like that, and you know their strength is keeping them off the glass, that creates rebounding and second chance points back. You know what I'm saying? So what did the Fever do? They didn't box out. They didn't even try to run zone. They didn't even try to say, hey, let's switch up, put Boston on her, which I think Boston body is a little stouter than Reese, and it would have kept her off the block. Yeah, Camila Cardozo would have probably got a little bit better, but hey, you could live with Camila Cardozo because she's not really a scorer. She gets all her points under the basket. She's not going to shoot from outside. She's not going to do all that. And I felt Smith could kept her at bay a little bit and forced other people. Mabry was struggling in the game. The Shields had a little moments here and there. Dana Evans had, she wasn't doing much. So where was you going to get an output of scoring? Angel Reese 25 points won the game. If you take them 25 points, that game was a blowout. It was a blowout, simply. You had the lead going into third quarter, 15 points in, and you don't put the ball in your best player's hand. You don't run the same plays that you ran in the second quarter, or at the beginning of the third quarter. You start switching out and everything. Now, looking at this picture, all of a sudden, Christie Sides and Teresa Weatherspoon embrace. They had like over probably a minute and a half of conversation where they talking to each other. The last time these two played, hell, Teresa Weatherspoon didn't even want to talk to her. They didn't even want to shake her hand. So all of a sudden now they have all of this damn conversation when the Fever has already beaten them 2 times out of 3 so far. Would have been 3-0. And it, like I said, it raised a lot of questions. But so what I'm about to do is half this up a little bit. I'm going to half this up and put it in the perspective that I can, as much as I can. And if I miss something, then y'all put it in the comments, and then I could always circle back around to bring it to y'all. Christie Sides is too loyal to Christy Wallace, who she traded for to brought Atlanta, Wheeler, who she paying, and then um, Kelsey Mitchell, who was the team's leader scorer last year. You cannot regulate Caitlin Clark in a way that you feel like she needs to be played. She has to have the ball in her hand. Kelsey Mitchell is not a point guard. She's a shooting guard. So set up plays for her to shoot, not for her to take on the whole. It's the time she's trying to take on teams 4 or 5 out of the set. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, Christie Sides don't know how to coach. She coached overseas. She was assistant everywhere she went. She'd never been a head coach. She never coached it. She never did any coaching in the NBA. Whereas Teresa Weatherspoon, she was assistant coach for the Pelicans in the NBA. So she knows what NBA teams look like. But still, are these two coaches any different? You look at Teresa Weatherspoon, she allowed her players to play. She made changes when necessary. As she listened to a lot of people saying, hey, you need to put Chennedy Carter in. Chennedy Carter is on the bench. She finally inserted her on the bench, in the starting lineup. Guess what? They have been a little bit more steady a little bit. Now they're giving up bench points more so than anything, because Chennedy Carter, when she comes in, she gets you about 16 points off the bench. But now you use her production where she's averaging around about 16, 18 points as a starter. But guess what? Where is your other points going to come from? Because if Mabry have an off game and Reese doesn't score, then you're not going to get any scoring output, because you can't rely on Angel Reese to be a scorer. She's not that person. But the point I'm trying to make is that regardless of what their deficiencies is, Teresa Weatherspoon trusts in her team. She has 2 rookies on her team, Angel Reese and Camila Cardozo. She trusts them. Camila just came back from injury, but when the other big center went down, they served Camila in the lineup. But as you notice, Angel Reese has been more of the vocal leader for the team. She allowed her to take over. You know what I'm saying? She allowed her to assert her energy. You don't see the same thing for Indiana Fever. It's like Christie Sides wants to control everything. She don't want Caitlin to be Caitlin. She want to control it the way she wants to. I said this last night. I said, if you put Teresa Weatherspoon on the Fever coaching the Fever, and she had Caitlin, you think Teresa Weatherspoon wouldn't love to have a Caitlin Clark on her team right now? Especially with Mabry struggling. I guarantee you, if she could switch Mabry and Caitlin out right now, I guarantee you the Fever, I mean, not the Fever, but the Sky will score over 100 points a game. Easily. They will be so offense efficient. Because you got a person in Angel Reese and Camila Cardozo that could clean up rebounds, kick out. You got Caitlin that could probably work it inside, outside with Angel Reese in the post. Then you could have a person like a Chennedy Carter that spot out from the outside that could dribble, drive, and kick out and play defense. Caitlin could knock down shots. They will score so efficient. They will be so better on defense, soundly, because you got that floor general. Fever with Christie Sides has that floor general, but she's not trusting that floor general to be the floor general that she needs to be. You want to pick and choose when you want to utilize her skills, and you can't do that. Now, like I said, I listened to Pope and Adrian Ross last night, and Pope, his statement is that he thinks they sabotaging Caitlin. Miss Ross, she doesn't agree with that to the sentiment. I'm kind of in between, but I have to look at it through a different ways, because for somebody that plays sports and watch sports, and plus I cover all of my other sports teams like the Commanders, the Chicago Bulls, the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Hurricanes. I cover all of these other teams, so I see a lot of different things. I'm gonna explain something to you. Teresa Weatherspoon's job is going to be safe. You know why? Because she's maximized all of the efforts out of her players, and they know what they got, and they just have to add a little bit more pieces. Christie Sides doesn't know that. She wants to pick loyalty over what's best for the team. You have a two-time defensive player on your bench named Celeste Taylor. You don't utilize her at all. You don't utilize Lexi Hall the way you need to. That Lexi Hall shooting 40% from, I think, three, 73% from the free throw line. She's a defensive person. She knows how to run screens. She knows how to do the pick and pop very well. You see when she's on the floor with Caitlin has better looks with her. It's not congested. She used Wallace, her assist is not good. Her free throw percentage is bad. Her 3-point percentage is bad. Even though when she get 3-point looks, she still misses them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she might score a little over 0.6 of 6 points here and there, but that's not no way to keep her in the game. Then you giving her 25 minutes. You giving Wheeler 25 minutes when you could at least utilize a Grace Berger. Hell, Victoria Vivians, you could put her in the game. You can at least try her out some. You don't know what you got on the bench because she wants to stick with this tight rotation. Sometimes you're going to have to mix it up. But I'm going to show you this video real quick of these two, which I felt like there has to be something else more going on, because there's no way in the world that Weatherspoon, the first two meetings, she doesn't even shake Christie Sides' hand. And all of a sudden, she had so much conversation with her on this last game. It makes me feel like Christie Sides knew that her team should have had beat them. But it's like she called the dogs off and say, you know what, hey, I'm about to throw this game. And then she gets there in the press conference acting like Caitlin had all the opportunity to shoot the ball on a fast break when she didn't have it, because she had to pass it to Christy Wallace, in which Christy Wallace tried to take a backwards ass layup and missed it. But again, let me show you this video and then I'm going to chime back in.
88-87 the final, as Indiana scuffles down the stretch, and Chicago prevails. Christie Sides, Teresa Weatherspoon.
You see how when Christie Sides walked away from her, she looked, and you see what it just looked like. Teresa Weatherspoon was asking her, do she have some kind of support with her? My thing is this here. I won't be surprised after these last few games and they go on the All-Star and the U.S. Olympic break, Christie Sides resigns. I would not be surprised if Christie Sides called it quits after this, because the questions has been raised that Christie Sides is over her head. Now, is she having some kind of mental situation? Because you was on a 4-game winning streak. So all of a sudden you have a loss. And you had all this conversation with Teresa Weatherspoon. And if anybody is looking in the background, you know, where the video that's playing, that is my intro music for Livewire. But I have to redo the music part of it and everything like that. But nevertheless, we'll talk about that another day. So you think about this. Christie Sides had all this conversation with Teresa Weatherspoon, but she didn't really have that conversation with her the last two games when you beat her. and then you was on a 4-game winning streak, but all of a sudden now you just have these conversations that you don't even know what to say to the media. You say, "Oh, I want Caitlin to be aggressive." Okay, well, guess what? Thursday night they play the Seattle Storm. I want to see Caitlin be aggressive. I want to see her. You even got people like Skip Bayless is questioning Caitlin Clark, say she might not have that dog in her, like Angel Reese. Yeah, okay. Angel Reese said, "Well, I'm that dog. I got dog in me." Yeah, she go out and get it. But at the same time, your coach allow you to be that. Teresa Weatherspoon allowed Angel Reese to be that person on her team. Anybody who we already know what Caitlin was when she was in college with Lisa Bluer. We won't even have to rehash that over because Lisa Bluer allowed Caitlin to be herself. She allowed Caitlin to be that dog on her team. You know what I'm saying? She still got her teammates involved. But at the same time, when you have teammates that can't catch your pass, that can't make simple layups, that can't shoot efficiently, and you gotta find scoring otherwhere. You gotta find. And the thing about it is, with Kelsey Mitchell having 22 points, Aaliyah Boston 18, Clark was 17, and Smith with 11 points, you had 4 people in double figures, and you still couldn't win the game. When you had in the last 3-4 games, you had them in double figures, and y'all won the game, but you was getting output from Katie Lou Samuelson. You had output from not Grace Berg, Lexi Hall. Yeah, Wheeler chipped in here, and again, Wallace chipped into the game. But the bench scoring is bad because you don't have a lot of bench scoring. You need people that could come off the bench and could score points, period, and play defense. Like I said, you don't know what Celeste Taylor could give you if she's not playing. You don't know what Victoria Vivens could give you if she's not playing. You can't sit back and wait till Timmy Fanbelly come back and say, okay, now Timmy's in the lineup. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe if Timmy comes back in the lineup, you could get 10 points from her. Then you could probably get 11 points from Neliza Smith and probably Katie Lou or somebody off the bench. That would help you have that. Maybe they could have 5 people in double figures, but it's going to be hard because now you have to play all of these good teams. And I do believe, this is me personally just thinking this, I do believe Timmy Fanbembley was ready 2 games ago. I think Christie Sides knew she was ready, but she kept blowing the media off and saying that, oh, we got to wait for the trainers. We got to wait for them to give her the call. I think she already had that call and said, hey, she's ready to go. I think she was ready to go to the Atlanta game, and Christie Sides betted against it. Now you're going to put her back in against all these firepower teams like the Seattle Storm, like the Mercury, like the Aces, like the Liberty. That's not a way to get your player back in shape. If she was already ready 2 games ago, she should have been able to play against Atlanta and against the Chicago Sky. That would have gave her a lot of practice time, a lot of things to be able to get out her system, to be ready to go against these other teams. You're going to throw her in the fire now when y'all team just came off a bad loss, and then y'all want her to catch up. And then if she doesn't play well, then guess what? It's going to happen. See, like I said, I still think something was fishy between her and Teresa Weatherspoon. I'm not, it's going to come out. Something's going to come out eventually. I think Christie Sides is over her head. I think Lynn Dunn, if she don't make a move on Christie Sides around this All-Star break or around this Olympic break, by the end of the season, the Indiana Fever can have a new GM and a new head coach. And this is where I wanted to talk to Pope last night in the live and Angel Ross, because this is what I wanted to throw out when they was talking about this. They was talking about, well, everything is coming from the top. I sat back and watched my Washington Commanders a year ago, went through this. We had an owner named Daniel Snyder. Now, I'm not saying the Indiana Pacers owner is like Daniel Snyder, but when new ownership had took over, we already knew that Ron Rivera time was over after the end of the season. Now, we wanted him to get fired in the middle of the season. Now, he did fire the defensive coordinator, but he kept Ron Rivera to the end. There's been times in the NBA that owners fire coaches midway through the season. I mean, like as soon as they have a losing record, they would got fired. Now, we already heard some rumors, some rumblings about Lisa Bluer meeting with the owner and with the Drake female basketball coach also. So I don't know if they already have something in place. Now, we haven't heard any more about it. Like I said, it's quote unquote rumors. But like I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And people saying, well, hey, why Lisa Bluer retired so early after Caitlin left? There has to be something in place. Something's coming down the pipeline that we don't know about. And they kind of they kind of seen what's going on with Caitlin. Because trust me, if I'm an owner and I have 2 number 1 picks in Leah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and I'm sitting up here looking at how this team should be better, and Caitlin Clark is not being utilized right, and Leah Boston is not utilized right. See, Caitlin Clark can still play her game with Leah Boston. Now, yeah, Leah Boston can't run the floor now. But she's trying now. I have to give her credit. She has been trying to run the floor. She's trying to take that place where Timmy Van Blenley was. Now, when Timmy Van Blenley come back, Leah Boston could still run the floor and set up down low while Timmy Van Blenley gets out on a break, because Caitlin will find her instantly. She finds Timmy, and if Timmy finishes under the basket, we ain't got to worry about that. Now that allows Aaliyah to get down there and post up, and then you can play inside or out. Then you got Timmy Van Blenley that's playing sound defense and everything like that. Then you have a little bit different. But if I'm an owner and I'm watching all of this and I'm saying, damn, you know what? We got to make changes. Now, an owner going to allow a coach to correct themselves. They're going to give a coach a little bit more time to correct themselves. I understand we want change right now. We already know Christie Sides is over her head. But I can guarantee you this. Ain't no owner is going to allow Christie Sides to continue for a 3rd year with the same team, and she's not going to make changes. Because you got to think, there's a lot of free agents that's going to be available for this Fever team to be successful. And like I say, me personally, if they don't fire her, if Christie Sides don't resign or she don't get fired around the All-Star and Olympic break, she's going at the end of the season. There ain't no way in the world they're going to sit here and allow Caitlin Clark to be fumbled. I don't think the owner is built that way. I think that he allowed the GM to make changes, but you got to understand, he the same owner that owned the Indiana Pacers, and guess what? They made trades to make this team better, and you see how this team played. This team was in the playoffs. So you would think that this owner is going to make changes. If he made changes, he got traded for Siakam. He traded away Sabonis and got better, and he got Tyrese Halliburton there. So you think about this. You literally think that this owner is going to sit back and not improve this team? You're going to have to make some kind of coaching changes. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And again, you're going to have to make changes that's going to have to build around these 2 young stars on your team, Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. Some people keep saying, well, they can't work together. I think they can. You could build a team around them, because that's what the Utah Jazz used to run. And Karl Malone ran out the floor. He wasn't as fast, but he ran the floor. And they was able to do. They had Jeff Hornacek out there that could shoot threes. They had a lot of other pieces there. Hell, they did things. They made it to the conference, the NBA Finals twice against the Bulls. So they did something right. So my thing is this here. You look at Teresa Weatherspoon, you look at Christie Sides. Both of them ain't really good coaches, but guess what? Teresa Weatherspoon gets the most out of her team. Period. She gets the most out of her team. She gets the most out of her team, and she gets a lot of effort. Is their team any better? I think the Fever is a better team than them, but you just don't have the right coach in place. That's a simple fact. So what I'm saying to y'all is this here. We gotta look at it beyond sabotage. We gotta look at it beyond everything. We gotta look at it, the coaching aspect of it. The coaching aspect for this team is bad. And I think whoever the assistant coaches, I think somebody needs to step up. But eventually, changes are going to be made. It might not be made now because, like I said, they got a 5-game road trip. Well, they got a 4-game road trip now. They already played one, and before they come back home for 2 straight games. So it's going to be a week, almost 2 weeks before they even play a home game. Again, let me know what y'all think about this. What do you think about the situation between Teresa Weatherspoon and Christie Sides? Me personally, I feel Christie Sides gave that game to Teresa Weatherspoon. Whatever the conversation is between them, it doesn't look right. It doesn't set well with me. Yeah, it was a great game, but Christie Sides had this game won. Christie Sides could have won this game by at least by 10 points. She could have pushed this game to about 20 points. For some odd reason, she put Wallace and Wheeler back in the game that messed the game up because they can't score. And so if you sabotage in games like this, you definitely needs to go. And now I know people sit there and say, well, we wasn't calling for Christie Sides when the Fever was winning these games. But the coaching still was bad. I don't care how you look at it. The coaching still was bad. Yeah, they won games, but they still wasn't efficient enough. Yeah, they were always in double figures. Caitlin put up some numbers. Boston put up some numbers. But guess what? They still wasn't efficient enough. You know why? Because there was leads in the game that they still had collapses. You still don't have enough scoring off the bench. You don't have the right personnel in to match up with Leo Boston and them. Because if Smith has a bad game, where else are you going to get scoring from? Katie Lou is inconsistent. Yeah, you say, oh, she's working her way back into shape. Well, hell, you don't play what? You 7-11. You don't play 18 games. You should be well in shape right now. And the thing about it is, you don't have the right personnel. Me personally, I would keep Celeste Berger. I would keep Lexi Hall. And when it comes down to the last 5 games of the season, if it comes to the last 5 games of the season and you ain't in no playoff fighting for no playoffs, or the last 3 games of the season, what I would do, I would put people out there that I see what I have. But again, I'm going to stress again. I'm looking for Christie Sides to walk away around the break. If she does not lead this team around the All-Star break or the Olympic break, then she's getting fired at the end of the season. I don't care what nobody say. She's getting fired at the end of the season. I think this team is going to hit a major collapse these next couple of games. They're going to hit a real major collapse. And it's going to get bad before they get to the point, because they haven't even played Minnesota yet. They haven't played Dallas yet. They haven't even played the Lynx yet. You know what I'm saying? The Mercury yet. So what are we talking about? So at the end of the day, guys, I feel like Christie Sides' time is up, is over with. But this right here, this doesn't look good to me. Doesn't look good to me at all. So Again, this your boy Livewire Sports Media. Another Indiana Fever forecast. I don't know what's going on between Christie Sides and Teresa Weatherspoon, and I damn sure don't know what's going on with Christie Sides' head right now. Because if she is having some kind of mental health issue or needs a mental break, she needs to step aside. She needs, because guess what? It ain't about to get no better right now. It's not about to get no better. And I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not going to get better. You about to run a gauntlet that is going to be looking pretty daunting. Unless you put a rabbit out your ass and get a win over one of these top teams. And I don't see it. Unless you're going to have to make some, have to make some significant changes to this roster. Again, continue to like, comment, subscribe. Until then, peace out.